Today, you're going to get the double Bane set build that I have been showcasing a bunch on my streams and testing out. Today, we have somewhat of the final version. Definitely going to take you up to 70 plus mastery. And I've tried this out multiple times in different masteries, really loving what it offers. And there's tweaks and turns you can do. We'll talk about that as well. So come and lock in. And by the way, I've tried these on every single character. Today, you're going to see it on the one and only DeadShot, but you can switch this around into other characters using different elements as well. So let's get into it. And here we go. We're going to start off with some gameplay to kind of give you an idea of what to expect with this build, the type of things that you're going to be able to do and why you should use this setup. It's very powerful. It does use Venom, and people think Venom is not so good when it comes to these incursions, and I totally disagree. When you put Venom on enemies, they do get more health, but there's a buff so that when they're missing a little bit of health, you can do 4 times the damage for each piece of health that they miss. Every 1%, you get 4% extra damage. So imagine how that stacks up when someone has high health and then they're missing pieces and you're able to do more damage. On top of that, the traversal attack is top tier here because you're going to crave everybody. And then on top of that, buff your other abilities like Bane's Fury, who also has buffs to add more elements to your playstyle when it comes to the damage and so much more. So you want to definitely pay attention to that and lock in. And then secondly, this has grenades for days. You can see I just started off. There's a lot of grenades where I am in the gameplay because you can do a melee, get some grenade ammo. You can buff your grenade damage to 200 plus more and each enemy you kill will also give you the Bane's Rage and refresh it so that you can consistently have the buff from Bane's Rage, which also adds an extra 100 damage to what you're doing. So then you multiply all of those things on top of other aspects, and you're going to have everything that you can see here in this gameplay, which is just me testing out the build very quickly to make this video, giving you guys an example of how much fun you can have with a build like this and then put in the work with your team, of course, making sure the synergy's right, having Venom on it. Okay, so that's kind of what you can expect. And the way it's playing, you can pretty much do a little bit of everything from traversal strikes to the grenades consistently as you do your suicide SWAT and as you put out some serious damage as well. You know, we're almost at 6 million for a suicide strike, and then your other strikes are doing a couple million as far as the traversal. And it's just a special build. I really enjoyed it. And let's go ahead and get into what you should be doing and how to set this up proper. Okay. First and foremost, one thing I want to say is that yes, I have 2 different Bane sets on right now. It's tier 3 and tier 1. I tried this for every single character and I actually love it, and they all have different elements that are special. When it comes to Boomerang, his traversal strikes gets buffed when you're using this setup because of the tier 3. Tier 3 buffs your traversal. So Boomerang ability is just crazy with this setup, and I absolutely think it's a must for him specifically. And then Shark and Harley Quinn tier 1 sets are really good because it has grenades and you can really do some special things with that on them. But all of them can work well if you put on the right synergy when it comes to augments and extra pieces. Okay, the guns and the weapons, depending on what you want to use. For me, I'm putting on 2 tier 3s for my weapons because I have really nice weapons that I love for the Bane set. And then I have the tier 1 for some of the items, and then of course 1 extra thing. So let's get into it. The sniper, of course, DeadShot specific weapon, but it has great ability when you do your critical reload. You're able to basically stack up frenzy. That's going to add some extra elements to them when it comes to Venom. And then all the enemies will also continue to go through that crave state, and then it just adds to your gameplay. But it has a tier 3 Bane set, and this is the main focus that I want to talk about and help you guys understand. I was talking about how Venom boosts the enemy's health, and that's okay because every missing health, 1 health that they have, you get 4 times the damage, 4% extra. So every 1% they're missing, you get 4% extra, which means that could stack up. The more health that they're missing, the more damage you're going to be able to do. And the more health they have, the more health they'll lose. So it's just a really special, just a 1-piece bonus. And you can put that alone. And I had that in other builds, and I think it's very valuable. On top of that, the 2-piece and 3-piece, everything I just explained, is super critical for the build. And that's why I have there for these 2 weapons, we're putting that on there. The secondary is very cool as well, a building thunder. And this right here is basically the same exact tier 3, but I really love the assault rifle. Does some heavy damage when you set it up proper with what I'm talking about, making it so that they get more damage done to them the less health they have. And you can put out millions of damage with an assault. I have video proof of that. Very cool stuff. 1 shot of an assault is kind of ridiculous to be able to do high numbers in damage. And we're going to move down to the melee weapon. Chokehold specifically just for this tier 1. And we talked about tier 1, how it boosts your grenades, not only picking them up or craving enemies, but on top of that, you're getting the Bane's rage zone. That rage zone is super important because it's going to give you 100% extra damage, which is super critical. For 20 seconds, you're going to consistently trigger this and then continuously put out more damage. And then, of course, with all the grenades, you're putting out more damage, 200 plus for each grenade. And that just refreshes your Bane's rage. And this is why this is a very cool combo when you put those 2 pieces together. Then for another tier 1, your shield mod right here, I absolutely enjoy. Again, tier 1 doing more grenade setup, and we're going to talk about the augments after, guys, but basically stay focused on buffing DPS and survivability, those 2 elements, but we'll get into some key stuff in just a second. Then you have the neck mod right here. Very simple, tier 3, nothing too crazy. Last but not least, tier 1 Bane set that will help you with the incredible grenade stuff that you have going on. The last 2 pieces that are not Bane sets is the turtle, and we know what this is. I talk about this for multiple builds already. I just love this piece, and even though they try to nerf it, it's not going to be nerfed. I think that it's just viable all around, no matter what. Being able to move and get some buffs and also staying still can have some different buffs. A little bit of both is pretty cool. For the melee, I'm using the Two-Face because it craves enemies and it throws live grenades as well. So you're going to be able to do some cool stuff with this melee attack. And remember, you're meleeing from a distance when you play as this guy right here. So it's even better. All right. Now, just to talk about a couple of things, what I like to do is stack up on everything that I'm doing. So crave damage to enemies is really good. So you want to put that on if you have the option to put that on one of your pieces of gear consistently, and you put that on every piece, for example, you're going to be doing high level damage consistently. As you can see, I have it on my weapons and my melee, and I have not even optimized this to the maximum, but a couple of pieces have extra damage to craved enemies, which is gonna be crazy. If you get God rolled 50 plus on each of this, that means you're doing plus 600 extra damage to these guys consistently with this type of build. And personally, I think that is top tier in my opinion, and a fun way to play the game. Now, like I said, I wanted to kind of stress it that I did put the same builds on each of these and tested them and absolutely loved the way they feel. They are a bit different because, for example, you can really focus on your traversal when it comes to Boomer when you're playing this double Bane set, because you have that multiplier on there. So it's super intense because he'll consistently drop his traversal over and over and over. And as far as Shark and Harley Quinn, those guys do the exact opposite, where they're focusing on the grenades aspect of it. And it makes it very fun as well, because now you can consistently spam your grenades, and then they have everything else that goes together with their melee and so on. So there's multiple ways to set this build up. And the reason I wanted to stress out this is because it is still not even season 1. The Bane sets are super cool. I did showcase a couple of combinations, but I not put one of these full Bane builds together. And I'm curious on what you feel and what you would change and what you like about this and what you would want to see in the near future as far as different setups that work for you with the Bane sets. Okay. And last couple of notes to talk about. Again, your playstyle matters and your teammates matter. So making sure everybody on your team has Venom is going to buff this, because that means every enemy will have Crave on them. And then if they have Crave, you're going to do extra damage. You know, you could see 5.6 million in that Suicide Strike just now. And I've done higher than that. And I absolutely love it. And I think it's a fun way to play. In my personal opinion, it's very, you know, special. And you can do it as well if you take the time and set your build up proper and know how it all works. So the more damage you got on somebody, the easier it's going to be to kill them, because you can do more DPS to people who are craved and have less health. So just start working on that type of playstyle and get into the game. And that's that. All right. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope you guys continue to make very cool builds. It's been a blast creating these and having fun with the community live on stream. And we will continue to do that. Go check out that next video popping up on your screen right now. We appreciate you out here.